Good afternoon, Mr. Moyo. Welcome to the 1873 TV. Maybe we can start by introducing yourself. You are the current president of the ZCTU.
And the secretary.
Oh, secretary. Oh, so that's Mr. Japhet Moyo.
Yes.
Okay, so I think
Yes, Japhet Moyo is the
perfect.
Yes, please. I do have the mandate to speak on behalf of the organization.
Okay.
Or on behalf of the entire workers in Zimbabwe.
Okay. So I think maybe. Okay, yeah.
Organization I represent is the most representative federation in the country.
Excellent. We are talking about Zimbabwe, the current climate, the working people, and also the developments that are taking place. Zimbabwe is open for business. What is your take representing workers?
We have listened with really curiosity the rhetoric from the politicians.
Yeah.
We are precisely saying that this is a rhetoric from the politicians in view that the majority of the people in government who are saying Zimbabwe is open for business are the same people who were working with the previous administration for the past 34 years, 37 years. We are very anxious to understand when they say the country is previous, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Since they came through a coup in the past 3 months, we have not seen any legislative framework which clearly tells us that the country is open for business.
Yeah. And when
of late you have this so-called naming and shaming.
Yeah.
A list of allegedly crooks is put in the public domain that a certain number of companies have been externalizing money without any evidence.
Okay, I think you are touching on something. This idea of criminalizing business is its own place, because most of the countries that fail are the first target are the people who produce or who are employers. Do you get the sense that people in government may not have anything to show for their time in government, and invariably they look at targeting other role players?
They have a history. We can go back a little bit and look at what happened during the hyperinflation period. During the so-called the price slashing.
Yeah.
So this is not the first time that our politicians have pointed fingers on business people and called them criminals.
Yeah.
Our business people ran away from the country in the years 2007, 2008. They were being harassed, they were being arrested for allegations that have been proven by any court of law. None of them has been convicted.
Yeah.
People spent time in the cells. Those who were not able were lucky enough not to escape. They spent time in the cells, but they were never convicted.
Yeah.
But the majority had to run away for their lives. the cases have never even seen the doors of the courts.
Yeah.
So it is not surprising that the new administration has now come openly again to criminalize imagined business crooks, which they have not proven to anyone. What they are doing, in fact, is to put into the public domain that some other people are criminals other than themselves.
Yeah. So this is what you get in building a nation. You are key stakeholders in this.
I don't think we are building a nation, comrade. I don't think this administration really is building a nation when they started by witch hunting.
In fact, the way there are two ways to look at it. There are people in government. There are people outside government. People in government sometimes think they possess the monopoly of what is right and what ought to be done. So it is all that people outside, unless they are vigilant, the people in government don't have the obligation even to take notice of what you are thinking or you are not thinking. Let's say, for example, we talk about externalization, wearing the lens of the working people. Have you invested in understanding reality and the constitutionality of this construct called externalization?
We had questions regarding when our state, when the authorities say there is externalization.
Yeah.
The first question we did ask was, what does it mean?
Okay.
Is it an offense on the originating company, or it is an offense on the receiving company?
Yeah.
For instance, let's look at the four main alleged culprits.
Okay.
In the mining sector.
Okay.
In the mining sector.
And just tell me, the mining sector, is it the union that represents the mining workers? Is it an affiliate of the ZCTU?
We have an affiliate. There are many unions in Zimbabwe, as you might be aware that in the past 20 years, we held a my visit.
Okay.
Visit Shabani Mashaba, the people there who are really under abject poverty. So we do have experience in terms
of. But you are the largest. You are the largest federation in the country.
We are the largest federation in the country.
Okay. So you then have, when you talk about tripartite negotiation, you are one of the federations, but you are the largest in terms of representation.
We represent the workers at the TNF, Tripartite Negotiating Forum,
okay,
equivalent to that, like in South Africa.
Yeah.
So we accompany the government into the ILC in Geneva every year.
Yeah.
So we are the biggest federation, the most representative.
So you are in the apex
of the most representative federation in the country.
So you are in the apex of the unions. In terms
in the apex.
Okay.
We represented the majority of the unions in Zimbabwe.
All right. So there is also MCOs, which represent the employers.
MCOs is our partner. So it's MCOs, Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions, and then we have APEC. These are the social partners.
Those are the three social partners. So if we look at MCOs, is it correct that Honorable Michael Bima was at one point a president of MCOs?
It is correct.
Is it also correct that the issue of externalization has not been extensively interrogated at the TNF?
It has never been brought, not extensively interrogated.
Yeah.
We mainly read it in the media that business people are externalizing, and that is not brought to the other social partners. It means that even MCOs might be shocked about the list in the public domain, because the list might include some of their members.
That's right.
They have not been asked to comment or to see or to be asked whether this is factual.
Yeah. So I can say two of the social partners, you representing labor, MCOs representing employers, you have not had any occasion where you can talk among yourselves what externalization is and what the role of government is in defining it and in giving it character as a crime.
It is correct that the issue has not been brought to the social partners.
Okay. So when you saw the list, was it your first time to see it, or it had been discussed somewhere else where you were privy to what the president intended in the 90 days and after the 90 days? Or you were also privileged, like all of us, just to be kept guessing until the list was published?
I was surprised, like the majority back home here or outside the country, of course. When the list came out, we didn't know who was in it. We see people like Obed Mpofu and Mnangagwa himself on the list. We never knew that the list will contain business people whom we have worked with for some time, and we have not seen any bad practices from them.
Okay. Now the president has acquired the list, and he has threatened the people who don't comply. And maybe in terms of common law, natural justice, would you expect somebody to be guilty of an offense that they don't even know and they are not even informed of? All they find is to wake up in the morning and find the name of the corporate entities they may act for being listed.
In fact, I don't think that the list is correct.
No, before even we come to the... Okay, go ahead.
I'm saying this because this is not the first time that the government has gone public about imagined criminals.
Yeah.
During the Gono time, we had a similar situation where a list of hotels and companies were listed in the Herald as culprits, only to turn out that this is not correct. So we will not be surprised to find that the list is in fact a political gimmick.
Okay.
Just merely to smear, decampaign the names of certain people.
Okay.
But what we need to have done as a country is to give those people in that list the opportunity to respond officially.
That's what you would expect, that where you have constitutionalism, the accuser.
If we are a law-abiding nation, we are supposed to provide the alleged perpetrator with the allegation and ask the person to respond. You don't have to go to the public and they say, so and so has stolen, when actually you have not mentioned that to the very person before you talk to another person.
And normally you would require an independent tribunal because you can't be the accuser and be the judge at the same time. And even to call somebody a looter.
These people we are told they are externalizers. They have not been confirmed by any independent court that for sure they externalize money.
So
the authorities who are merely alleging.
So when you say let's open, Zimbabwe is open for business, are you happy, satisfied that this is the foundation of something good to come?
In fact, what we have seen in the past 3 days smacks of what they say the country is open for business.
Yeah.
Why would a business people agree that the country is open for business when tomorrow the same business person will be written in the newspapers to say
yeah. Hello?
Don't think that it is an honest those who might have money who would like to invest in a country.
So you are saying
no business person outside there who would like to put money, would come to the country and put money here when he is reading again that business people are put in the public domain and alleged to have stolen without being even given the opportunity to go to a court of law.
So now we come to the issue of SMM. I guess in the list it's number 1. The company that is listed as number 1 is African Associated Mines. You as a president and a person who has worked through the ranks of ZMTC and its affiliates, what is it that is known in the public domain as workers? Has this matter ever come up in the context of the TNF, where the issue has openly been discussed, interrogated, ventilated?
No. The issue of Mashaba, Shabani, this is a group of companies.
Yeah.
This is companies which the majority of Zimbabweans who know that they were once owned by the Mr. Mutumwa Mawere. That is what is well known here. This issue was never brought to the TNF for discussion. But the majority of us are aware that the company some years back was illegally. That's how we are terming it, because the legislation which was used is not very clear. The company was taken away from that man. The man was declared person non grata or specified. And the company was taken by a group of people within the ruling system, and they were told they stripped the company. We are one of those people who visited the entity to see what is happening there. The equipment is gathering dust. And the matter of that company has not been subjected to any TNF discussions. And we have not been given any information as to why was the person specified.
But now, if
outside the country,
if you look at there is something on the screen here. You may not see it, but there is a letter dated January 5, 2005. Do you know a Mr. Chandavengerwa? Masimba Chandavengerwa. Have you ever heard the name?
No.
He is the acting general manager of the Minerals Marketing Corporation of Zimbabwe.
This is the government agency responsible for in the country.
In the country, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So he used to work for SMM. He was a marketing director at the time. So the facts that I'm reading to you, one of the allegations is that money that was meant to come to Zimbabwe was stopped from coming or diverted from coming to Zimbabwe. And that's how externalization is framed. You are aware of this whole issue of externalization. There are people who believe that when you export, the harvest belongs to the government or reserve bank, whichever term they use. That you are the exporter, but the proceeds are actually an asset of the government. Have you ever heard that construction?
This is now what the authorities are telling us, or not telling ZCTU, but what is put in the public domain.
Yeah.
That the company was exporting.
Yeah.
And the money which was supposed to come back to the country was not remitted back into the country. And that's maybe what they are defining as externalization.
That's right. So with respect to SMM, just to give you a background, that in 2004, the marketing of asbestos was actually, since 1997, left to the company to market its own product, because MMCZ was ineffective. If anything, was a corrupted entity, because the actual marketing was not done by MMCZ. It was done by agents appointed by MMCZ. So they would find their friends and appoint them. So with the change of ownership in 1996, we then exposed what was going on in the marketing of asbestos, resulting in the government saying they don't want to have anything with the marketing of asbestos, you do your own thing. And we built the marketing side of it. So the first allegation was that the money that was supposed to be remitted was diverted to a South African company by me. So the first thing was to terminate the marketing arrangement and reinsert MMCZ with effect from 1st of April 2004. Having secured that, Kono had already issued instructions that any creditor connected to Mawere don't pay. So as a result, the suppliers were not getting paid. at all. The money would go to Zimbabwe. After being received, the money would be converted at official exchange rate with penalties, the mine remaining with limited available foreign exchange to pay the escalating local costs. Then the creditors in South Africa mainly could not get paid. And that resulted in a session agreement to say whatever money that was outside the country that SMM owes must be paid before it gets to Zimbabwe to clear what was not being paid. That then formed the basis of the attack on me, that I had caused this court action and obtained a court judgment in South Africa to divert money that is meant for Zimbabwe to come to me using a fraudulent court order. I don't know whether you heard that part of it.
We heard that you externalized the money in that format.
So they talk about the court, this session court order.
No.
Yeah. So then in May 2004, a warrant of arrest was then sought and granted. And people knew that I was based in South Africa. They then applied for my extradition, alleging that I'd run away from Zimbabwe with money. And they were alleging I had run away with $18 million, US dollars, not 62 million. So they come to South Africa, granted the arrest, which was then done on the 25th of May. And then what is the allegation? The allegation is that I had stopped money to go to Zimbabwe. So then they are given, after objecting to my bail, they were then given an opportunity to bring the evidence within 30 days and a proper application. On the 30th day, they come to court and said, we are not ready. Can you give us another 60 days? So they said, but why would you want to arrest somebody and you have not done your homework? Is this the way you do business in Zimbabwe, where you arrest first, then you investigate? And the matter was then dismissed on the 30th of June 2004. On the 9th of July, Minister Chinamasa then issued a specification order on the same allegation that they said they were not ready to specify me as a person. Although I don't live in Zimbabwe, there's no company that I'm managing. Then that order was then used to say, we'll freeze his account. Then they discovered that there was nothing to freeze. There was nothing to attach because there were no shares that were held by me in Zimbabwe. Then they specified the company now, and any company they deemed to be under my control. They discovered that the specification did not give them the control that they were looking for. Then they then placed the company under extrajudicial reconstruction. And for the purpose of the people who are listening and watching, extrajudicial, it means there is no involvement of the courts. This is a member of the executive deciding that you are guilty of an offense, then issues an order to say your freedom must be limited or your rights must be limited. without any due process of the law. So we are dealing with the first allegation is that on the 6th of May 2004, a court order was granted. And therefore, the effect of that court order was to stop money from being remitted to Zimbabwe. I don't know whether that is clear.
Yes.
Then this letter that I'm referring to was written on January 5, 2005, which is 4 months after the appointment of an administrator. And also, it was sometime before, May is what they were referring to, that the effect of the order was to permit diversion. And diversion by nature is prejudicial, because it means the party that is supposed to receive value is deprived of value because of something else. So you see, this letter is written and it's addressed to Hindustan Composite. That was a customer for AA mines for asbestos, sold and delivered. So I'll just read it to you so that you can apply your mind. It says, outstanding payment to Southern Asbestos Sales. Southern Asbestos Sales was the agent of SMN. So which meant the customer would pay into the account of SAS. SAS would then in turn pay to SMN. You see that link?
Yes.
We would like to thank you for having agreed to hold on to these funds up to this date, despite the pressure you have from your big banks and SAS to effect payments. It's somebody in Zimbabwe who is telling a customer that I'm thanking you for not paying. We shall be grateful if you could continue, if you could hold on until end of January 2005. We expect to have found a solution during the month of January. Should you incur any expenses as a result of these delayed payments, they will be for our account. However, please note that once a solution has been found, we shall expect the full payment to be forwarded to our bank. Meanwhile, they are saying Mawere has caused money not to be paid. And they are writing direct.
They are instructing someone not to pay the money.
That's right. They are the ones who are saying don't pay. Then Mnangagwa pushes a list and says it's Mawere who said money must not be paid. This is after the debt. I'm following. And this person has been rewarded to be acting general manager of MMC. He is receiving salary.
In essence, you are refuting the allegations that you externalized money. You were not responsible if ever there was non-payment of any remittances.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I got a letter. That is a troubling letter. This letter is a signatory. It is copied to a number of people. And the effect of the letter is to say don't pay. Meanwhile, in Zimbabwe, they are saying Mawere is responsible for non-payment. All I'm asking is taking this letter, it will lead us to other letters. You now, as a member of Secretary General of the ZCTU and a member of the TNF, were you aware of this instant fact I'm not saying, I'm not generalizing everything, because we want to go deeper into the 62 million.
This information was not divulged to the public here in Zimbabwe, neither was it discussed at the TNA.
So assume this man who wrote it was brought to the public glare to say, did you write the letter? And why were you thanking somebody? And yet Mawere, there was already a warrant of arrest on Mawere. There was a specification order on Mawere while you were writing that letter. And you had all these facts with you. Mawere is being harassed, but you are telling the people who owe money to you to say, don't pay.
I can draw an inference there.
And Mr. Moyo, should you draw an inference in a government of which you are a stakeholder? Because it is the working people who finance government.
I can draw an inference that there was a plan to divert the money to some other accounts.
No, this is one inference. One inference is, let's criminalize Mawere and make sure that in the public domain, we push this idea. This letter is not copied to me, you know that. You will see that. We'll send you a copy. This is a letter coming from the customer, not from Zimbabwe.
Yes, so you are correct that the inference, you can draw an inference that someone was constructing a case against you.
That's right. So for the sole purpose of creating me as a criminal, so that the objective of taking over the company can be effected with public support.
Yes.
Because who would want to hear that a person ran away to South Africa with working people's money? Now he's insulting us and taking us to court, and he has run away.
Yeah, we are told that you could not be extradited because you hold a South African passport.
That's what.
We are now a South African citizen, so that became a legal hiccup that cannot be extradited to Zimbabwe.
That's right. So that's what is being said. That
yes, Mawere is now a South African.
Yeah,
so the law could not allow.
That's right. So
the South Africans could not deport their citizen.
That's right. So he'll use the loophole. And this man is so devious that he got citizenship for the purpose of avoiding
deportation.
Yeah, being brought to justice. That's what is being said. And this is the narrative. Now you got this copy of the letter to say, I just want to get an entry point into this. How much money was this? Why would you say to somebody, don't pay, and hold on to the money? Thank you for not paying. And what kind of mind would inform this kind of thinking?
I think there was a sinister motive behind this.
But the guy who is sinister is the acting general manager of a state corporation.
Will he be doing that on his own?
I'm saying is, if he can do this on this one, what else is he doing to defeat the ends of justice? Because he should be
He
the.
wouldn't do that on his own. He was doing that under his instructions.
No, that's one way, Mr. Moyo, of thinking. What if Mnangagwa doesn't know? Who is going to make him know? Except Mr. Moyo to say, Mr. President, we want to see you. We have just one letter. I don't know how many other letters are there, but we'll give you some more. But for now, we just give you one. We just want this man to explain publicly to us why he would be thanking a defaulter or encouraging someone who received goods to keep on to the money and the goods.
How many letters were written really to many customers that they should not pay you?
I'm saying there are many. I'm just saying for you, you are coming into this discussion blindfolded without knowing the facts. Now you have just one fact, and the timeline is there.
Wow.
And you can't use too many facts, otherwise you confuse a simple mind. Assume we're just ordinary people with ordinary minds that are occupied with our own problems. So we don't want too many problems. And you,
that people planned this.
no, we can't make the conclusion because we're not judges. All we want to find is the reason that there is information that they've stumbled upon after President has issued the list. What I do want to know on behalf of the working people, I want to dig deeper into this letter. And I want to ask this person, how many other people did you write letters to say, don't pay? And what was...
Is he still in charge of the agency here at home?
He is the acting general manager of the Minerals Marketing Corporation of Zimbabwe. He is the current acting. So by them putting him to act, it means they associate themselves with this kind of cruelty and criminality. Because if diversion is a crime in Zimbabwe, then what is this letter? They don't produce any letter where I caused anyone not to pay.
If we get such information, we would put to him to explain, because we want to get to the bottom of the facts.
Yeah, so the letter has already been shared, it's there. So it is for us now to say, we got this letter, Mr. President. It relates to African Associated Mines, the #1 culprit. And if we have evidence that is 60 minus $1, we just want to understand whether it was just $1 or many other dollars. But before we go to other dollars, why is this man not been arrested? For externalization, telling a customer not to pay.
This is the money which was supposed to be remitted back home.
That's right. So the non-remittance was caused by the complainant.
Unless if they can prove that they then authorized
No, they will present that to court and say, court, out of the money that we claim from Mawere, let's deduct this money. We know where it is, and we say, don't pay. They don't say that. So that Mawere can explain for what he is alleged to have done, not for something other useful.
Would one be wrong to just suspect that this person might have opened another bank account and asked the same customers which he was blocking and asked them to...
That's diversion. But I'm saying this letter on its own constitutes part of a crime.
The argument might be if they had allowed the money to come to your account, you will be able to access them, but you were specified already.
No, I'm saying is whatever it is, they must then explain that we caused this. So out of this 62 million, we are in touch with the person who owes them, who received the goods. I never received the goods. Yet the president says, you must pay in 90 days. Pay what? How can you say you have not complied when the people who have caused non-compliance are within his employment?
So the reason why you could not remit the money is government was responsible for that.
No, I'm just saying because of this letter, it's a fact issue. The fact is there was a letter. The fact is there was non-payment. And therefore, that must have legal consequences and financial consequences. It's not what I'm claiming, it's what it is. That on January 5, after my harassment, somebody knew that this money was not paid by the customer. On the contrary, they encouraged the customer, induced the customer not to pay for the sole purpose of scandalizing somebody.
Yes. Someone who assumed that had they not written the letter, the money was going to be paid and the money was going to be remitted back home to Zimbabwe.
No, is that you? No, it says you have already claimed against the person. Why then interfere? Because you are claiming 62. I might as well suffer for something I received. But you can't say I received money when I never received the money. And I could not have received the money.
What happened with this money?
No, I'm saying that's another area of inquiry. First, as the union, you are coming into this. First, you are shocked that there's a list. Second, you want to delve deeper. So you just want one entry point to say, I have an entry point. Now I'm inside. Tell me where this nonsense is coming from. That has caused the people to lose jobs, to lose income.
I will share that with Comrade, with Mr. Mfugari of MCOS.
Yeah.
I will share that with him and say, together, can we ask the government to explain this thing?
That's right.
Yes.
That's one. But also, you can also tell the workers that we have stumbled upon something that we don't know. And as a social partner, an important social partner, you can request to see the Minister of Mines to say, this gentleman, does he work for you?
Yes.
And we just want to establish what the facts are. What if Mawere is telling us a dummy thing?
It is very important that you share this information with us, because back here, when we are given this information and with the desperation in those towns, people say this man took 62 million to leave these poor workers suffering in this way. These communities are suffering because of this man.
So how cruel can this man be that he would run away with $62 million? So that would be the narrative that people in government want to create. That this man married the wrong wife, and because of that, we want to remove him. So everybody thinks that's the reason.
Yeah, there are issues really here to talk about.
Yeah. So this is just one. I just wanted one now. I'll go to another fact so that as we proceed to other facts, you can then see the point of entry, because I didn't want to close this discussion. This discussion is only targeted at this letter. So on another time that you may designate as convenient to you, then we use this time to share so that the court of public opinion can also be part of this discussion. Because sometimes we go to Mufukari, who has known this matter for a long time and done nothing. And the Minister of Mines, who was the president of...
I get something from you. We are a public entity.
Yeah.
When we engage the office of ED, we make it public. So our letters find themselves in the public domain when we engage in the ministry, so that our membership is aware of what we are doing as an organization. Do you give me permission?
No, you have 100% permission, because you are entitled to the truth anyway. So you have 100% to do anything, have a press conference, get the people working on this, have the media investigate, because you can't, this is 14 years old. Is it now? It's 13 years old, this letter. Surely somebody has paid somewhere. Surely there's something that has happened to this money. Surely this gentleman knows where the money is. When was it paid? To whom was it paid?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so you got 100%, and as I promised you, I will give you all the info, including what has been lied in court, where lies have been peddled in court, and really without any shame, just for the purpose of criminalizing with the intent to benefiting from that enterprise. Where ministers have lied under oath, so that you understand what really this, when we say Zimbabwe is open for business, what are we saying? And where is the mischief? What address do we go to for protection and promotion if the addresses of power are warehousing people like this? This gentleman is getting a salary for doing a good job by killing other jobs.
Yeah.
And does he care about justice? No, he would have been the first one to say, I can't write this letter, I can't get involved. If the money is received by Mawere and he doesn't pay, he must answer for it. but I can't make Mawere answerable for something that I've caused to happen.
It's very clear to me now, very, very clear.
Yeah. So I think those are the things that, and if you are listening out there, it's also your opportunity to add your voice and be somebody. I think do what you need to do. Very counterproductive to the let's attract investment in Zimbabwe is open for business. Someone is planning to loot companies. The caller is on point, just like us. It's more than a gimmick. I see a deliberate attack, and they're probably to grab and take people's companies. A target, especially those mines. So this whole listing of people is really a scheme. That's what somebody is saying. So sure, David, ZANU-PF red roof people and their children to be in business. What happened to Chinamasa, child found with US dollars? What happened to him? Google too about Mnangagwa's son. No other children to be in business. So that's where we are. Maybe you can just give your final words and then we close.
I would say really we are happy to have this conversation because we share the same sentiments with Comrade Mawere. That people are eager to see other people down. People are busy stripping other people's properties. People are busy stealing from other people's sweats. And this cannot be open for business. So when the authorities are saying the country is open for business, to us it's mere rhetoric because on the ground this is not what they are practicing.
Thank you very much. We'll call off to arrange another opportunity, but thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you.
All right.